NATO Secretary General Rutte arrives in Ukraine. An extremely large number of ballistic missiles, Russia has committed horrific attacks. And how Ukraine hits Russian FPV training center, electronic warfare station, and manpower. That news next. During another massive attack, Russia used an exceptionally large number of ballistic missiles, which significantly complicated air defense operations, said Yuri Ignat, head of the communications department of the Ukrainian Air Force Command. There were many ballistic missiles. According to him, data from strike locations is still being clarified, as it is not easy to put all pieces together immediately after an attack.
Very many ballistic missiles this time. We are talking about missiles flying on a ballistic trajectory. That is why out of more than 70 missiles, only 38 were shot down. But given the types of missiles, this is still a high figure.
According to preliminary data, more than 70 missiles were used in total. 38 missiles were shot down, 28 were cruise missiles, of which 20 were destroyed. Information on 6 missiles is being clarified. They likely did not reach their targets. Primary targets of the attack were critical infrastructure facilities, including energy sites in different regions of the country. Geography of the strikes: several regions at once. According to Ignat, this time Russia used a tactic of simultaneous strikes on many regions rather than concentrating on one direction. The following regions were hit: Kharkiv region, Dnipropetrovsk region, Kyiv region, Odessa region, Vinnytsia region. New focus in Russian missile strikes. As Ignat noted, whereas Russia previously more often used Ha-101 type cruise missiles, the share of complex ballistic strike weapons is now increasing. This time, the following was recorded: Ha-22 and Ha-32 missiles, at least 7 launches, Zircon missiles, likely Onyx missiles, as well as Iskander-M missiles. All these missiles fly on ballistic or quasi-ballistic trajectories, which makes them particularly difficult to intercept. About Russia increases production of Shahed drones. According to Ignat, Russia has significantly increased production of Shahed-type attack drones and uses them in large numbers during attacks.
Russia has primarily ramped up production of Shahed-type attack unmanned aerial vehicles, and there are very many of them as well. To destroy them, we have to spend valuable munitions, both for short-range air defense and systems such as Gepard.
Due to the mass use of drones, the Air Force is forced to adapt its defense tactics. In particular, the creation of anti-aircraft drone units is being scaled up to more effectively counter enemy unmanned aerial vehicles. He also confirmed that Russia actively uses Starlink to control drones, and the Ukrainian side has solutions to deprive the enemy of this advantage. There is a lot of information about Starlink. They use it, but there are certain solutions to deprive them of this, he stressed. Russian dictator Vladimir Putin waited for the temperature to drop and stockpiled drones and missiles to continue his massive attacks against Ukraine, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha says. Neither the diplomatic efforts in Abu Dhabi this week nor his promises to the US have prevented Putin from continuing his terror against ordinary people in the harshest winter. We are dealing with terrorists who must be forced to stop violence, Sybiha stresses. Ukrainian Foreign Minister outlines the key steps that, in his opinion, the international community should take. This includes strengthening Ukrainians' air defense and energy security, increasing pressure on Moscow, depriving the Russian military machine of energy revenues and access to technology, and internationally isolating the Russian regime. Separately, Sybiha calls for the detention and confiscation of illegal Russian oil tankers. Putin must be deprived of illusions that he can achieve anything by his bombing, terror and aggression, the minister concludes. After a peace agreement is reached, Ukraine will immediately receive support from armed forces, aircraft in the air, and naval assistance from those NATO countries that have agreed to help. This was stated by NATO Secretary General Rutte during his address to the Verkhovna Rada. Rutte said, "We want not only to end this war, but we are also thinking about the future. We aim to secure lasting peace so that children can grow up in freedom. look to the future without fear, and help build a strong nation. He added that in addition to strong Ukrainian armed forces, the country needs robust support from its allies. The United States, Europe, and Canada have expressed their readiness to provide certain security guarantees. The coalition of the willing has made progress in designing these guarantees, including last month in Paris, as President Zelensky has mentioned. Rutte emphasized that once a peace agreement is reached, NATO allies who have committed to support will immediately deploy armed forces, aircraft, and naval assistance, while other members will contribute in other ways. He stressed, ending this war will require difficult choices. Ukraine must understand that every sacrifice, every life lost, and every hardship endured will not be in vain. Peace will be long-lasting and supported by major powers. You do not want a repeat of the Second Budapest Memorandum or another Minsk. In the meantime, it has been reported that Ukraine and Western partners are discussing a contingency plan in the event that Russia violates a potential ceasefire, including possible the involvement of US military forces, reported by Financial Times. According to Financial Times sources, the plan was repeatedly discussed in December and January among Ukrainian, European, and US officials. Under the proposal, any violation of the ceasefire by Russia would trigger a response within 24 hours. Initially, this would involve a diplomatic warning, followed if necessary by actions from the Ukrainian military to restore the ceasefire. If hostilities continue despite these steps, Ukraine and its allies would move to a second phase, the deployment of the coalition of the willing forces, which includes most EU members, as well as the UK, Norway, Iceland, and Turkey. Sources added that if the attack escalates, a coordinated Western-backed military response, including US forces, would be launched 72 hours after the first violation. Units from Ukrainian defense forces carried out fire strikes on a number of Russian military facilities on the night of the 2nd to the 3rd of February, reported by General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. According to the General Staff, a Russian training center for drone operators and FPV drone production was hit near the settlement of Kamysh-Zorya on the temporarily occupied territory of the Zaporizhia region. Also, a cluster of Russian military personnel was struck near Khlyborobne on the temporarily occupied territory of the Zaporizhia region. In addition, on the 2nd of February, units from the defense forces struck a cluster of Russian military personnel near the village of Terebreno in Russia's Belgorod region. A Russian electronic warfare station was hit near the village of Baranivka on the temporarily occupied territory of the Donetsk region. The General Staff also reported that as a result of earlier operations, the destruction of Russian TOS-1A Sansepyok heavy flamethrower system, which had been struck on the 2nd of February in Belgorod region, has been confirmed. The military noted that Russian losses and the scale of the damage are currently being confirmed. It is essential to stress that Ukraine targets only military objectives, and every strike is carefully calculated to weaken Russia's warfighting capabilities. These operations are not acts of indiscriminate violence. They are strategic and measured, aimed at reducing the enemy's ability to continue attacks on Ukrainian civilians and infrastructure. By focusing solely on military targets, drone production sites, troop concentrations, and weapons systems, Ukraine demonstrates its commitment to both national defense and international law. Each operation is designed to degrade Russia's offensive potential, limit further escalation, and protect Ukrainian lives, while sending a clear signal Ukraine will defend itself effectively and responsibly without targeting civilian areas. In this context, every strike carries a double significance. It directly reduces Russia's operational capacity and sends a strong deterrent message to prevent future attacks. This careful, precise approach underscores Ukrainians' professionalism, discipline, and the just cause for which its armed forces fight. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.